I'm a 33-year-old guy, and I've been with my girlfriend, let's call her Lena, for about 3 years now. She technically still lives with her parents, but she's at my apartment almost every night. She doesn't pay rent or bills, but she does most of the shopping and buys groceries for us, so it kind of balances out. We're serious, like basically living together. Lena has this job where she travels a lot. Not all the time, but often enough. Some months she's gone for a few days, other times she's away for weeks. She works with really specific machines that are usually in far-off places, so her job takes her to some pretty remote areas. That's also why she's still living with her folks, she's hardly ever home. When she travels, it's not always easy to talk. The internet is bad, and phone service is spotty. We try to stay connected, texting every morning and night, sometimes video calling if the signal's good. It's not perfect, but it's been okay. She loves her job, and I've always supported her. Now, a few of my friends have said things like, "Are you sure she's not messing around on those trips?" One of them got cheated on in the past, so he's always suspicious of everything. But I've never had a reason not to trust her. When Lena's home, we're super close, and she's never made me feel unsure. That is, until something weird happened. Just last week, Lena flew out on one of her trips. This one was way out in the middle of nowhere, only satellite phones work out there. She told me it might be hard to talk, and I was used to that, so I wasn't worried. But then, at 3 o'clock in the morning, I get a call from her number. That alone shocked me. Sat phone calls are crazy expensive, and she never calls from them unless it's an emergency. I answered right away, thinking something terrible had happened. She was crying hard. I asked what was wrong, and she told me she was safe, physically, but something bad had happened. Turns out, they had finished their job early, and there was a celebration. Lena got really drunk at the party and went back to someone's room. She said they just kissed, nothing more, before she pulled herself together and left. She was sobbing while telling me this. I was half asleep, confused, and all I could say was that we'd talk about it later when she's back and we're not burning through a phone bill. But now, I'm a mess. My head's spinning. I keep wondering if it was really just a kiss. And if it wasn't, has this happened before? Why did she call this time? What if there were other times she didn't? She's still stuck out there for a few more days because there's only one plane a week. We tried to text, but honestly, I couldn't do it. It felt too big for that. So now I'm here, angry, hurt, and confused. I still love her, but I don't know what to believe. I don't know what I'm supposed to say when she comes back. I don't know if I'll even believe her side of things. And I don't know if we can go back to how things were. 3 days felt like 3 months. I couldn't eat much. Couldn't sleep either. I kept playing that 3 a.m. call over and over in my head. Her voice shaking. The crying. The words she used. I kept trying to figure out if she was telling the whole truth, or just enough to calm me down. I didn't talk to anyone about it, not even the friends who always suspected something. I didn't want to hear, "I told you so." I didn't want anyone else's voice in my head. I just needed to know how I felt. Finally, Lena came back. She knocked instead of using her key, which she never does. That alone told me everything was different. She looked wrecked. Puffy eyes. No makeup. She didn't say anything at first, just stood there like she didn't know if I was going to let her in. I did. Of course I did. But the second I closed the door behind her, the silence between us felt heavy. We sat on the couch. She didn't try to touch me, which was smart, honestly. I wouldn't have been ready for that. She took a deep breath and said, "I know I messed up. I'm not here to give excuses." That actually surprised me. I expected her to start explaining right away. But instead, she asked, "What do you want to know?" So I asked. Everything. I asked how drunk she was. She said blackout level, but still remembered the kiss clearly. I asked if she's ever done anything like this before. She swore on everything she never had. I asked who the guy was. Just some tech from another team, barely knew him. And I asked the hardest one, why did it happen? That question made her start crying again. She said she didn't know. Said she wasn't mad at me or unhappy. Said it wasn't about love or feelings, it was just a dumb, sloppy mistake. I wanted to believe her. I still want to believe her. But here's the problem, I don't feel like I know her in the same way anymore. There's this weird wall now between us, made of doubt. And every time she looks at me with those sad, sorry eyes, part of me wants to hug her and forgive her, and another part wants to tell her to leave. We talked for almost 2 hours. I barely said much. She talked, cried, apologized, sat in silence. Then I told her I needed space. She nodded. Picked up her things and left without saying much more. So now, I'm alone again. She hasn't texted since. And I haven't reached out either. I'm stuck between wanting to fix this and wondering if I should fix this. If you can ever go back to normal after something like this. A week passed. Lena still hadn't texted. I kept checking my phone anyway, even though I told myself I needed space. I started wondering, maybe she's giving me time, or maybe, she's just waiting for me to break first. That silence started to feel louder than the 3 a.m. phone call ever did. Then came Saturday. I went out with my brother, trying to clear my head. We grabbed food, talked about anything but Lena, and I actually laughed for the first time in days. When I got back home, I noticed something strange, my tablet was on. Now, I hadn't touched that thing in a while. It was still synced to Lena's Apple ID from when she used it to watch Netflix weeks ago. I don't know why I opened the Messages app. I didn't go looking for trouble, I swear. But there it was, her name at the top, and right below that, a bunch of unread messages. Most were from me, but one thread caught my eye. A name I didn't recognize, Tom, Site 14. I shouldn't have read it. I know that. But I did. The conversation wasn't technically flirty. No heart emojis or anything. But it had a certain tone. Inside jokes. Late night replies. Stuff like, Tom, you always drink like that when the job's done. Winking face. Lena, haha, only when I'm with the fun cruise. You bring the bad influence, lol. Tom, glad you came back that night. Was worried I made things weird. Lena, you didn't. I made it weird. My boyfriend would kill me if he knew, lol. That one hit me like a punch in the stomach. There were no clear confessions. Nothing about what exactly happened. But that, lol, at the end of her saying I'd kill her if I knew. That wasn't funny. That was casual, like what happened between them wasn't serious enough to matter. But it does matter. Now I'm spinning again. I thought I had all the facts. She made a mistake, kissed a guy, felt guilty, told me. But this? This made it feel like, there was more to it. Like it wasn't a single moment. It was something that built up, something she let happen over time. And if she lied, or even just left stuff out, what else hasn't she told me? I haven't told Lena I saw those messages. Not yet. I'm not even sure what I'd say. Do I confront her? Pretend I don't know and wait to see if she tells me on her own? Part of me wants to explode. Part of me wants to just disappear and let her wonder what went wrong. And part of me, the dumbest part of all, still loves her. 2 more days went by after I found those messages. I kept going back and reading them, like some kind of punishment. I kept asking myself if I was overthinking things, if those LOLs and smiley faces were just how she texted, or if they meant something deeper. But in my gut, I already knew. Something wasn't right. So I decided to stop spinning and do something. I texted her. Hey. We need to talk. Can you come over? She replied within 10 minutes. I can. Tonight? Yeah. 7. I spent the rest of the day rehearsing in my head. Trying to figure out how to ask her about the texts without losing it. But when she walked through my door right at 7 p.m., all those words just vanished. She looked like hell again. No makeup. Hoodie. Hair in a messy bun. She barely said hi before sitting down, clutching a bottle of water like it was the only thing keeping her grounded. I didn't waste time. I said, I need to ask you something. And I need you to be honest, even if it hurts. She nodded slowly. Then I pulled out the tablet. Opened the messages. Turned the screen toward her. I watched her face drain of all color. She stared at it. Didn't speak. Didn't even try to reach for the tablet. I said, I read the messages with Tom. I wasn't looking for them, but they were there. You said it was a mistake. A one-time thing. But this doesn't feel like a mistake. This feels like something that built up. Her mouth opened slightly like she wanted to speak. But she didn't. She just closed her eyes. That silence said everything. I asked again, was there more? She didn't answer. I felt my chest tightening. My ears were ringing. Lena, I swear to you, if you tell me the truth right now, we have a chance. But if I find out later, even one more thing. I'm done. She finally whispered, I didn't sleep with him. I waited. Nothing more came. I said, but you wanted to. She looked down. Bit her lip. And then gave the smallest nod. That was worse than I expected, somehow. Worse than even hearing, yes, we did. Because it meant she thought about it. Wanted it. And still called it a mistake after the fact. She said, I didn't plan it. I didn't even know I was feeling that way until that night. We were just working together and talking and I don't know. I felt disconnected. From everything. Disconnected. That hit me hard. We had been talking less on her last few trips. I'd chalked it up to bad service and long hours. But maybe she felt the distance in a way I didn't realize. Or maybe she just let herself drift and didn't bother stopping it. Then she said something I didn't expect. There's something else I need to tell you. She paused. I saw Tom again, this week. My heart dropped. When she said she saw Tom again, I felt something break. I didn't yell. I didn't even speak at first. I just stared at her, waiting to see where this was going. My mind was already jumping ahead. Did they meet up? Did it go further this time? Had she been lying this whole time? She must have seen that panic in my face because she quickly said. It wasn't like that. I didn't plan it. I ran into him in the lobby when I was leaving the site. He asked if I wanted to talk, and we sat in the cafeteria for 10 minutes. That's it. I told him nothing could happen. I told him I loved someone else. But that didn't make me feel any better. Because she shouldn't have needed that second conversation to figure out where she stood. She looked up at me with tears already in her eyes again and said. I'm sorry. I really am. I didn't sleep with him. I didn't even want to until I was drunk and lonely and stupid. But I know now that I crossed a line, even if it didn't go that far. I understand if you can't forgive me. And that was the first time it actually felt like the truth. I believed her. I really did. But I also knew I couldn't do this anymore. Not because I didn't love her, I still did. But because I didn't trust her. And without that, what were we even holding on to? I told her the truth. I said. Maybe in another world, we could have worked through this. But right now, I can't live with that picture in my head. I can't ignore the messages, or the hesitation, or the way you thought about cheating before you stopped yourself. She didn't try to argue. She didn't beg. She just sat there and cried. I walked her to the door. She looked at me one last time, and said. I'm sorry I broke us. And then she left. Just like that. No big dramatic ending. No yelling. No begging. Just two people sitting in the ruins of something that used to feel so solid. It's been a couple weeks now. I still miss her every morning. I still check my phone sometimes like a fool. But I also sleep better now. Not because it doesn't hurt, but because I'm not wondering anymore. I'm not stuck between hope and doubt. I'm free. Not happy. Not yet. But free.